All right, I'm Barry Wallace. I'm the Vegetation Management Specialist. I'm with Crop Production Services. Now, I brought some business cards. They're up here. You don't need, if you want a business card, you can pick it up, and all that information is on there. There's my website or email address and so on and so forth. Just background, I've worked with this chemical since 1982. I've been involved in about 2.5 million acres of applications from Montana to the state of Chihuahua. I've been involved from Texas to California. So we've worked across a lot of barriers, and we've learned a lot about this product. Now, we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we hope to think that we learn from our mistakes. So what I'm going to do today is going to kind of give you a little summary of how this product works, why it works, where it belongs, where it does not belong, and I'm going to make a real strong emphasis on the follow-up cow or livestock management that goes with it. Okay? With that, let's go ahead and start. Spike 20P has an active ingredient of tebuthyron, and as a compound, I'm standing in the way here. Let me get over here up. Okay, categorically, tebuthyron is a photosynthetic inhibitor. What that means is it stops the plant's ability to make food for itself, and it takes about a ½ inch of precipitation to move the product into the soil. I'll go ahead and pass this around. This is what the product looks like. So you guys kind of get a look at it. It's an 1/8 of an inch extruded clay pellet. And it's applied by air or by ground. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a few minutes. It's effective on shallow-rooted brush. Now this is really important. If you put that product on the ground and put irrigation on top of it, you would not move it any deeper than 20 inches into the soil. It will not go any deeper than 20 inches in the soil. That is why it's only effective on shallow-rooted brush. Really important down in this part of the world. I listed whitethorn acacia and creosote bush and tar bush. We also have sandpaper bush. Those are all shallow-rooted plants. It is very, very effective on those shallow-rooted plants. Mesquite is a deep-rooted plant. Spike has really no effect on mature mesquite. It will take out the immature mesquite. So please don't think this is a mesquite product. There's other things that we can talk about that to help you there. Anyway, it's moved into the soil, and it transpires the active ingredient to the growing tips, and then it slowly shuts down the ability of the plant to make food for itself. It starts starving the plant. And what you'll start seeing right in the middle of the growing season, you'll see discoloration or yellowing of the leaves, and right in the middle of this growing season, the plant will defoliate. The leaves will fall off. Now that plant may leaf out again, but what it's doing is it's pulling up the active ingredient out of the root system, and it may defoliate several times. The key to killing brush is to kill the roots. We have to exhaust the carbohydrate reserve in the root system, and when you do that, you affect true root kill. There's a lot of things you can put on brush that'll turn the leaves yellow and knock them off. But if you're going to kill brush, you got to kill the roots. So that's really quite key. Brush control equals root kill. And I like to tell people it takes time to work. It's very slow, but it is very sure. The wetter it is and the warmer it is, the quicker it works. Okay? Cold weather, unless the plant is growing, unless it's transpiring, you're going to see no effects. Okay, thanks. You can start seeing the activity on the target species in months. Total kill may not occur for 2 to 3 years. Now, a lot of our part of the world has been under drought conditions. That pellet can lay on the ground effectively years until it rains and it moved into to the root system. It's not particularly attractive to rabbits or rodents or birds because it's just a clay pellet. It's mixed into clay and then extruded out. So we don't have any issues with non-target organisms. Obviously, it's been tested for livestock and wildlife, so it has no adverse effects to the livestock as well. Residual compounds are evaluated on what they call a half-life. The half-life of the active ingredient on this product is 22 months at 20 inches of precip. I don't know, Jerry, where are we here? 14 inches, 16 inches of rainfall?
Yeah, about 14.
Okay, 14 inches of rainfall. That means that that half-life is extended. Now, if you have wet years or dry years, the variability kicks in. But the point I'm trying to prove out is this product sticks around the soils for a long time. That's why we have the longevity in control with this product. It's not what you see this year or next year. It keeps working for year after year after year. Up in Wyoming, we're still killing some brush that was put on the ground 18 years ago. That's in a 6-inch rainfall. So those half-lives are still extended, okay? Very long activity period. All right, I put it in red here because I said good grazing management is the key to the length of activity and control. I've learned this lesson really the hard way. If we put the right rate out on the right site, I know that we can kill the brush. But just as important on killing that brush is the follow-up livestock management that you put on that same piece of property. I have killed brush and had guys come in and continuously graze it because of the release effect that occurs. The herbaceous effect jumps back and people start doing the continuous grazing. And all I've done is I've done a disservice to that guy because he didn't follow up with the management. Now your cows, your horses are going to be attracted to that area. The grass that comes up, the herbaceous vegetation, has a higher moisture content, it has a higher sugar content, and because of that, if you go treat 100 acres in a 500-acre pasture, the livestock are going to camp on that 100 acres. It takes management. It takes salt, it takes water, it takes some management to control the livestock. Now in northern Arizona, deer and elk are treated to they're attracted to the area too. You know, I've done juniper work in northern Arizona, kill the trees. The rancher is a great manager. He kept the cows off of it, but 500 head of elk can do a lot of damage on a 500-acre pasture that's been treated. So livestock and wildlife are attracted to the area, okay? All right, there's all kinds of management goals. I know we don't have any land management agencies in here, but I listed livestock forage on top there. It may or may not be the ultimate goal. It may be wildlife habitat. It could be grassland restoration. A lot of the work that we do down here in Cochise County is funded through the game departments because they're trying to attract some birds into a grassland habitat type. By the way, you can get some cow feed out of it too, but you know, we gotta kind of have to talk about those other factors as well. Or it might be watershed enhancement. We know if you've got grass or herbaceous cover versus brush cover, that you've got a much stronger system for protecting the soils from erosion. So you get that benefit as well. Application can be done by aerial, and we can do fixed wing, and over in Texas we actually have helicopters that are set up to do the work as well. For our friends in Mexico, we would have to, if this shows some interest down there, we would have to, and part of the things that I do for Dow is I do the certification and the patterning of the aircraft, because there's very specialized equipment that have to go on these aircraft to do this work. And I'll explain that further here in just a minute. We have to put a positive metering device on the aircraft. It's something that controls the output. I'll explain that to you in just a second. We don't have people out in the field waving flags to keep these pilots in line anymore. The computers on the aircraft and everything's under satellite guidance now, and we get a much higher quality of application because of that. Now, to make that work, These guys have to generate a computer shapefile. And they can do that in the office, and then we can convert that, put it on the airplane, and that pilot's actually got a little television screen that's got that shapefile as he's flying. He'll fly a line, it paints a line in the pasture on the shapefile, he'll make a turn, he'll pull the trigger, the airplane will come back around, and there's a light bar right in front of his face that goes red, 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 yellow, green. Wham! He's on his 60-foot SWAT. So all he's got to do is watch that light bar, and as he's turning, he can look at that screen to see what's painted, to see if any skips or gaps occur out there. Specialized equipment. We have to have it. We're going to talk about ground equipment here in just a second. To make that work, we got to have proper calibration and the application techniques. To show you what we're talking about, I know we sent those pellets around. The work that's been done here on the ranch, we've done at 3/4 of a pound active ingredient. That is 3.75 pounds of material. That bag that's going around has 3 pounds of material in it. That amount of material is put on 1 acre. That's less than a pellet per square foot. It requires very, very precise equipment, calibration, and satellite technology to pull that off, okay?